Well, good morning, everyone. Thomas Montgomery here. We get together with our distribution partners most weekday mornings at 8 o'clock Central to talk about strategies, tips, techniques, share success stories, and keep you updated. We're ultimately here to support each of you. Today is Monday morning, September 12th, 2022. So what we're going to talk about today is the RVP role. And if technologies are green, you should see this position description on the page in front of you. So we're going to talk about the what as well as the why. So what we're looking to do is build a national team of regional vice presidents. There's of course no cost, nothing to buy as a regional vice president. And as shown on the upper right, it's really an economic development position. We ideally want to have one RVP per state, but that's not a hard and fast rule, but ideally that's what we want. You might say, well, what does an RVP do? Well, an RVP is going to help us increase our outreach to help more people by increasing financial literacy and access to capital. You might ask, well, how are RVPs paid? RVPs are going to be recruiting white label partners and getting overrides from the production of their team of white label partners. Specifically, the override, which we'll get into as we scroll down on the page, is 2.5 points. So that's pretty good if you think about it. So let's say you have a white label partner that comes aboard, helps just one client raise $100,000, then you're making $2,500, $2,500, but that's purely passive income. Of course, our goal isn't to have just one white label partner generating just one client. So again, no cost to be an RVP. As far as an explanation of the position, it's obviously passive income. You can also be a white label partner as well, but you're not required to be. So in other words, you could be an RVP, but not a white label partner, vice versa, or you could do both. There's not a requirement. It is 1099, so there's no requirement that you have to work full-time. It's flexible schedule. There are no minimum production requirements. Now, we'll talk about expectations here in a minute. And there's no penalty if you don't meet those, but we'll go through more detail. And so the nature of the relationship, because several of us got together and said, how should this be set up so it meets everyone's needs? And a few things that was mentioned was, number one, it should be free, of course, and that was the plan all along. The second of which is there's no fine print, there's no long-term commitments, there's no penalties for failure to perform. And so we actually set it up as month to month. And so in any white label partners that's brought on by an RVP during their term, they'd continue to be paid off of course. They're not losing those residuals. But essentially, each month we need to both parties need to evaluate, is this working well? Are we growing our team of white label partners? Are those white label partners out producing? And if so, what we're doing is collectively working. If not, there needs to be some changes. So again, if you became an RVP today on September 12th, and you brought on 5 or 10 white label partners, but then the relationship didn't continue after the first month, you would still get that comp perpetually for the white label partners you brought on. You just wouldn't be running that state anymore. So we'll get to the background and duties and how to apply in a moment, but this is the what. I think we've covered the what. Let's go back and make sure we understand the why, and then we'll continue down. So again, in summary, looking for regional vice presidents, a leadership team that are really business developers. They're helping bring white label partners on board. The white label partners go out and generate the clients and are paid for doing so. So this is purely an override. It's a leadership position. Why we're doing it, let's get to that short bulleted list, which isn't necessarily fully described on this page. So number one is, of course, so we can go help more clients help more small businesses increase financial literacy, help more small businesses build loan packages, help more small businesses get funding. So our distribution model needed an extra layer, and those RVPs. So we'll have an RVP of California, we'll have an RVP of Texas, we'll have an RVP of New York and Illinois, and so of Nevada. So it's a great opportunity for those of you that want to be involved but receive passive income. You're not burdened with going out and developing clients. So that's one of the whys. The other is some of you are involved with this, others aren't. But just so you know, we're in the process of considering purchasing a bank. Why would we want to buy a bank? Well, by being the direct lender, that's going to give us more control over financing. And so a number of you are involved with those discussions. We're looking at buying an existing bank. And the RVPs, the regional vice presidents, will actually sit on the board of this bank if that purchase goes through, which is too soon to say. And that'll be a paid position. So you would have the opportunity to sit on the board of the bank, and you'd be paid a monthly retainer for that, in addition to the comp that we discussed. So pretty exciting stuff. Let's scroll on. So anyone that's interested in becoming an RVP, just simply email us and let us know that the nature of your interest, and we need to know specifically the state, because our goal is to have one RVP per state, and that meets what we need for the bank advisory board as well. The bank advisory board should have one board member representing each state. Who should apply to be an RVP? Well, obviously, we're looking for action-oriented individuals that can at least build a team of white label partners. It would be in their best interest to not only build, but also motivate, but they're not required. So just to clarify, and we'll see that when we get to duties, the RVPs are not burdened with training the white label partners, although they can contribute to that if they want. They're not responsible for managing the white label partners. If the white label partners they bring on produce, then the RVPs make money. If the white label partners that are brought on don't produce, there's no consequence, no negative, no penalty to the RVP. All right, so let's get down to the background and duties, then we'll open it up for questions and comments that you all have. So yet again, we'll state we're building a national team of RVPs, one per state ideally. And then they're going to build out the team of white label partners. Now we have a bunch of white label partners already. And if you're already a white label partner, then you will be most likely assigned to an RVP in your state. And that RVP would be there to provide greater support and motivation. But that would not reduce or limit your current, wouldn't change your current role as a white label partner. It doesn't reduce your pay. We need more infrastructure as the team of white label partners grows. We're adding lots of white label partners, and that's great, but we want to make sure that we're supporting them, and that can be the RVP role for those that want to do that. So again, our goal is to increase financial literacy and access to capital of small businesses through our grant subsidized program. Thus, the regional vice president brings on white label partners, and then the white label partners will generate the clients. The clients are guaranteed a minimum of $100,000, and through our access to capital program, those clients don't pay anything up front. So this isn't some money grab. This is not Ponzi. This is not MLM or network marketing. So again, let's look at the breakdown. How much does it cost to be an RVP? Nothing. This is actually the agreement, by the way, because those of you that were involved as guiding us in the development of this wanted something simple, no fine print, no penalty. So this is actually the agreement. We'll send it to you in Adobe if you want to be an RVP. So, but going back to it, so no cost to be an RVP. We recruit white label partners, and we're going to talk about who we really should be focusing on in a moment. That's going to be an important conversation, but we'll come back to that. The white label partners pay nothing up front to be a white label partner. We train them, we support them. Then they're able to bring on clients that are looking for capital. What do we do for those clients? Those three things we've talked about. We help them build financial literacy. We help them build a lender compliant loan package, and we guarantee them a minimum of $100,000 to start or grow a business. We know that the white label partners have access to the multiple campaigns, the access to capital where there's no upfront cost for the client, the guaranteed finance in the SBA Express. So all of those are resources, or what we call campaigns, that the white label partner will have access to. All of those generate income for the RVPs. So in case you're not familiar with the business model, here is an 8-minute video that covers the client proposition. I really like it. I think it does a great job using that pictorial description. And then here is the business model that would be used for explaining it to the white label partner. So the business model didn't change. It's just, it's a different view, right? What clients care about is getting funded. What white label partners care about is getting paid for getting clients funded. So same coin, just two sides of the coin. So if you've not watched both of those, I encourage you to do so. Now let's talk for a moment. Let's pause for a moment and talk about, well, all right, so maybe I'm interested, maybe I'm not becoming a regional vice president. So I understand my job is to go bring white label partners to the table and they don't have to pay anything. And we'll talk about the process here in a second under key duties. But I want to pause and let's just dialogue for a moment about who would I want to find as a white label partner? And the truth is it could be anyone, but let's talk about who are especially valuable white label partner prospects. Number one, I think insurance agents. Licensed life and or health insurance agents would be at the top or near the top of your preference list. Why? Well, because they're probably already well versed in lead generation. And then by those insurance agents becoming a white label partner and being able to open the door, the conversation with small business owners about accessing capital is going to put them in an excellent position to be able to help them do an insurance assessment, which is often called a financial needs analysis, and sell insurance policies, whether it be key person, buy, sell, setting up annuities, indexed universal life, so on. So who would make a great white label partner? Who would I focus on if I were an RVP? Certainly insurance agents would be at the top or near the top of the list. Great way for them to generate more leads, write more insurance policies, plus add another income stream. So they would be at the top of the list or near the top of the list. Also, in general, business to business professionals, bookkeepers, accountants, website developers. Think of this economic environment of small business, and there are merchant card processing reps. There are individuals that are out there that are already working with small businesses, already reaching out to them. So this is another arrow in their quiver, another way that they can help their clients, another way that they can use, another strategy to convert their prospective clients to become clients, and so forth. So those would be two of the top three categories: insurance agents, business to business professionals. The third of which, and this is the home run, if you listen to this one, the home run would be anyone that's interested in teaching small group classes. We announced a few weeks ago, and several of you have taken us up on it, where we can come in and do a one-day class together. The one-day class, which the white label partner would facilitate, in other words, would find the room that they want us to come out and teach in. They'd help invite the audience. And then what do we do during that one-day class? We literally sit with those individuals and build out their loan package in one day. So at the end of that day, we are submitting their loan package for funding. So it's not a different process than what we do normally, but it is a different environment, and it's a one-day event. And so Some white label partners say, well, I need a simplified way to make sure I'm helping at least 8 to 10 clients a month, which is the expectation, of course. Well, let's have one workshop a month. That workshop will have 8 to 10 or usually 10 or more people in. So my point is, in addition to insurance agents and business-to-business professionals that already have an acumen for developing leads or have small business leads, individuals that are willing to get in front of a small group, and we'll come out. Remember, part of the offer is we'll send myself or one of our qualified instructors out with you, and we'll facilitate that one-day class. It's not some lecture, it's not some passive workshop, but we're literally working with the audience to complete their business plan, to complete their personal financial statement, to build that loan package during that one day. So before we leave in that afternoon, we should be applying for funding. And so that's, of course, a paid event. All right, so let's get down to the key duties, because now what we've covered is the what, the why, and who some of our targeted audience should be for white label partners. But with that being said, it could be anyone. You know, they don't have to be an insurance agent. They don't have to be a current business-to-business professional, and they don't have to be willing to go teach the workshops. But those are probably the top 3 categories. All right, so what are the key duties of the RVP? Well, we need to recruit white label partners. I mean, that's the role. That's the primary role of the RVP, is to build a distribution system, to build a team. And that team, then, you as the RVP, you're paid overrides, 2.5 points. And we'll, again, talk about numbers here at the bottom of the page. Specifically, there are 2 ways to recruit a white label partner. And you can, RVP can do either. First of which is we can set up an RVP landing page. It's going to look like 4weekfunding.com. And so then that would be coded to that individual RVP. And so that RVP could drive people to their landing page. And then that will allow the white label partner to agree to the terms and conditions online and get signed up. So that tells the story and it facilitates the enrollment very easily. So that is scenario 1. Scenario 2 is we will provide you an editable version of the white label partner agreement. Then you, as the RVP, would have the white label partner sign it, and then you would forward it into us. So the contract is between us and the white label partner. It's not putting you at risk or a burden, but you're facilitating that. So what you're doing is not a lead generator. We don't need to pay out tens of thousands or hundred thousands of a month to you for generating white label partner leads. That is not what we're talking about. What we are talking about is paying out 2.5 points for bringing white label partners to the table. What does that mean? It means either getting them under contract, online terms and conditions on your website, or having them sign the normal agreement. So as far as performance, so there's no penalties, but if you're going to take responsibility for a state, so whether it be Nevada or Georgia or Texas or Florida or whatever state, we want to be adding at least 1 new white label partner per week for a month. If not, frankly, you're not very active or you're not very good at what you're doing. And in either case, we probably should have someone else do it instead of you. But as I've shared several times, if you bring any white, which I know you would, but when you bring on white label partners, even if your RVP role doesn't continue because we've mutually not decided to continue it, it's month to month, then there's no penalty and you would still get revenue off the override off of those people that you've brought. Now, David's asking a good question. So David wants a given state, but he knows of prospects in other states. So can you recruit anywhere? Yes, David, you can recruit anywhere. But the goal is if you're saying, hey, I want to be the RVP of Florida, like Jeanette wants to be. So if Jeanette's the RVP of Florida, we're going to work with her, we're going to train her, we're going to support her. We want her to build a distribution team white label partners in Florida, at least 4 a month, as we just said. Now, if she also, in addition to that, is able to build out in North Carolina and Wyoming, wherever else, that's fine. But we need a concerted effort per state. Again, this is for 2 reasons, going back to our why. We want to build a stronger distribution system. Secondly, we want to provide better support to the white label partners so they'll have an assigned RVP. And then thirdly, as we prepare for this bank purchase, this is an important strategic element of having a footprint for that. All right, so compensation, of course, compensation is important. So we will pay the regional vice presidents an override of 2.5%, and we'll break that down, what that means, of the capital raise generated by their white label partners. So let's say that as an RVP, you brought on a white label partner and they help one client enroll, and it could be in the guaranteed financing, it could be in the access to capital, what have you. So we know that the client is guaranteed a minimum of 100,000, and that's not your burden as the RVP. That's the promise the client has, but you're not party to that agreement. You're just getting the overrides from it. So the white label partner still gets paid normal. The white label partner is not getting reduced income. They're still going to make on average 12.5, 2,500 up front, and whatever performance fee they want. Let's assume that they're going with 10% just for simple math. So you as the RVP will earn 2.5% of the 100,000. Now, if the client gets 200,000 instead of 100,000, you just earn $5,000, right? So it's an override of 2.5 points, 2.5% of the capital raise of the clients generated by your white label partners. You may go out and recruit 10 white label partners, and maybe 5 of them produce and 5 of them don't. Do you have any penalty for the 5 that do nothing? No. I mean, it's a little bit of wasted time, but it's not any economic penalty to you. The 5 that produce, what do we want from them? We want to work with them to help at least 8 clients a month. And with that, then these numbers start to really grow. So if you brought on one white label partner that complied, we helped 8 clients raise 100,000. So now you would make 8 times 2,500 using this simple example. So in other words, you'd make about 20,000 per month per white label partner who is active and on track. So does it get rich quick? No. And a lot of you, again, you've got background in the financial industry, the insurance industry. Earning overrides is common in the financial and insurance industries. But you could look at it as saying, if I can find the white label partners that'll plug in and produce, I could make about 20,000 per month override. And so maybe you come on and you want to be a regional vice president for 1 month, bring on some white label partners, and then retire, or whatever you want to call that. You would still get paid off of those that you brought, but you would no longer be empowered to bring additional ones on because someone else would take over that role in your state. So the agreement is super simple. This is the agreement. There's no fine print. This is exactly it. We'll send this over to you via Adobe if this is something that you're interested in doing. And the terms of the agreement are just as stated. I'd like to be a regional vice president for a period of 1 month. So in other words, we try it for 1 month and we see how it works for you. Again, no risk. So if you flop during the month, we just won't renew. No penalty, no cost. If you do well, which I'm sure you will, you bring on 1 or more white label partners, you'll continue to receive the overrides perpetually for those that you brought on, even if your active RVP status doesn't continue. But our goal is hopefully, you come on and you do a great job, and then we want to renew. But it would renew month by month to month. So at any time that you wanted to stop, you could stop, no penalty. And we'll have to get you a W-9, of course, because we're paying you direct deposits. All right, so who has questions on the what, the why, the how of the RVP role? Now, if you're interested, I can't keep up with it here on the Zoom, but you'll want to follow these same instructions. But let's go through your questions. And I'm curious who's interested, and if you're interested, what state you may be interested in. Our goal is to get these RVPs covered here quickly. Joseph's asking, can he do multiple states? Well, we need to start with one state and make sure that it's a good fit. So Joseph, you're in Arkansas, so if you want Arkansas, you can apply. It's typically first come, first serve. So you could, take Arkansas for the next month, see how it does. So is it possible to be the RVP of multiple states? It is, but I've already described, you can team build outside of your assigned state, if you will. But we can't just be a shotgun and say, okay, well, I want to be the Illinois RVP, and then we start going through this and there's no production in Illinois. Why? Because we have a responsibility to provide accessibility to small businesses, our programming, and that comes through the white label partners, and you as a RVP are bringing the white label partners to the table. Plus, we're trying to close this deal to buy a bank. And so we want to have an RVP in each state that serves on the board of that bank. And that would be an additional source of compensation. I didn't properly describe that. But if the bank deal goes through as we hope, then everyone would be paid to sit on the board, which is common for board of directors. So that would be an additional stream of income that wouldn't reduce. Okay, so let's see here. Warren asked, does the RVP 2.5 points come out of the performance fee? It does. So it's coming out of our side. So let's break that down. That's a great question, Warren. So with our white label partners, we do a 50-50 split of the performance fee, but the white label partner gets to decide what they want the performance fee to be for their clients, or even client by client. 10% is the norm, but it could be more, it could be less. So 5 points is going to the white label partner. 5 points is coming to us, of which we're splitting then in this mathematical example 50-50 with you, Warren. So you're getting 2.5%, and then we're keeping 2.5%. So hopefully that makes sense. So this isn't reducing white label partners comp at all. This is not costing the clients more at all. This is just simply us adding a leadership team. And so that's the question Timothy asked. He's asking, as far as the leadership team, is there anything involved other than what's on this page? And I appreciate for your straightforward question, Timothy. Well, our goal would be to create a community, a network, a team of these RVPs. And so might we have some separate Zooms specifically for the RVPs? That's been considered. Might we get all of our RVPs together? So we pay the bill. So maybe we fly you and cover your flight, cover your hotel, cover your food, and maybe we get together in Vegas or in Miami or San Diego periodically to exchange success stories, because this is a big deal. This is going to make a lot of money for those of you that are active and successful as an RVP, and it's going to help us grow. And so we're very much willing to invest in your involvement. So would those trips to San Diego or Vegas or Miami be required for the RVPs? No, because we said this doesn't need to be full-time. You got complete flexibility. But we will, I guess what he's getting at, yes, we'll have incentives that above and beyond the 2.5 points that is encouraging and rewarding. All right, so let's see who else has questions here. Yes, and I agree with a number of you, including Lon. What this does is it provides another revenue stream. Some people are wired to build, but not necessarily implement. And it's not a strength or a weakness. It's just different people have different preferences and skill sets. So the RVPs can go out and build, and not be burdened with implementation. And so for some, that's very, very attractive. Some of you have a background in network marketing or similar type of structures. This isn't that, it's not MLM, but it certainly does, I guess, mirror the fact that you can build a team. It's just, this is almost too good to be true, because the team that you're building as an RVP are white label partners, but you're not trying to sell anything to the white label partner. They don't have to buy anything to participate. And then you can be as involved as you want or uninvolved as you want in their production, but obviously you have financial interest. So I can already see this. There's some of you like Lon and like Warren, you guys will knock it out of the park, and you'll probably have your own leadership approach. You know, Warren, thank you for your service, used to be in the military. So Warren will probably set up some conference calls or Zooms with his white label partners, help motivate them, encourage them, and maybe even set goals and hold them accountable. Other of our RVPs are going to be hands off. They're going to recruit the white label partner and just say, oh, just go sink or swim, see what happens. Either way is up to you. But of course, the more production your white label partners have, the more money you make, right? And we need a certain amount of production to consider it successful. So again, no penalties, no stick. But if we have a RVP, and we're not adding at least one new white label partner per week on average for a month, then it's probably not a good fit. You will not lose. You will not lose comp from who you brought already. So there's no penalty there, but we need to find someone else that might perform. Now, I know a couple of you, I think it's Jeremy is one, is really plugged in, like Jeremy's plugged into pastors nationally. So he might go out and bring on 100 pastors in 30 days that are splattered all over. That's fine. Some of you are targeting insurance agencies like IMOs or FMOs. Sean is looking at that. So Sean may very well bring on 100 to 250 insurance agents as white label partners by the end of this month. And that's fine. So you can go out this big and just start swinging that bat, using a baseball analogy, and hitting home runs or grand slams, or you can just go out there and just try to tap in singles. So either way is fine. We have a question: what happens if we have can we have more than one RVP in a given state? Well, we could, and some states probably warrant that. You know, I worked for the SBA in Texas, of course. We actually had 2 state directors. You'd say, well, Texas is one state, but we had a South Texas director, and a North Texas director. And so we can be flexible on that, but at least we want to have at least one RVP per state to make sure that we're facilitating the access to financial literacy and access to capital in that given state, and then also to build the board out for the bank. Lynette asked about getting together, and she might have typed that before I asked. So absolutely, we're looking at having maybe quarterly, maybe monthly. We'll have to get you all on a Zoom and see, but yeah, getting you all together, and so we'll pay for the expense of and we only fly first class, right? There's no limited leg room and coach, but we would fly you first class to whatever destination, and so that way we can spend some time networking and learning together and building a relationship. So yes, Lynette, we plan on really making this is our leadership team. This is our leadership team. So this is not to minimize the role of white label partners, but the RVPs are the developers, the team builders, and then the white label partners go out and do the work, and the RVPs make money from that. All right, let's see if there's any other questions. Warren's asking a good question about the recruiting process. So since you know that as an RVP, you're recruiting white label partners to plug into our model. And so there's really these 2 ways to get them under agreement. We can get you a landing page. Scott Scrouter Scott Stroud, our Chief Marketing Officer, can develop this page that looks just like this for you. And that kind of tells the story to the prospect, and they can sign up and fill out the terms and conditions right there. So that's scenario one. Or scenario two is we can provide you the agreement, and then you send it to the white label partner, have them sign it and get it into us. So these are the two ways specifically. Now, we can support you with training videos. And again, I believe keeping it simple is the way to go. If I were to become an RVP, let's say of Florida or Georgia or wherever, what I would want to do is become familiar with these two training videos. And then I would identify who I want to target, insurance agents or pastors or what have you. And then I'd create just a quick cover note, and I would send this out to them. And this, this about 30-minute training shows them how our model works and how they get paid. I don't think that you would need much more. So this shouldn't be an intensive, you shouldn't have to spend money to go develop marketing materials. And I don't think that you'll need to create a lot of materials. Now, some of you are innovative and you'll have your own pitch, but the bottom line is they're signing up as a white label partner on our agreement. So there's not much creativity. That the end document is known. This training video, I think, does a really good job. But yeah, whatever else you want to do to get prospects to hopefully view this training video, which is not required, but then to get them signed up, it's up to you. All right, so we ran a bit long, so let's just summarize and we'll wrap it up for today. So we are rolling out the regional vice president role today, September 12th. Our goal is to develop at least one RVP per state. Costs nothing to be a regional vice president, and there's no penalties or consequences if you enroll and it's not a good fit. The role is summarized as a recruiter, a team builder, building a team of white label partners. And your reward for doing that is 2.5 points for the override of the clients developed by your white label partners. Some of you will do this because you have other peripheral benefits. Like some of you are again involved with insurance. So you might use this as a way to build your team of insurance professionals. We're not involved with that, but I realize some of you may do that. Terrence is a CPA. He'll probably build out a team in his area there in the Midwestern United States to be able to also feed, in addition to the overrides, feed more clients into his accounting practice. So that's fine that you have other spillover benefits. If you're interested, all you need to do is let us know, and then we'll send you an Adobe packet. And that Adobe packet's straightforward. It's this document, but it'll allow you to sign up. Let us know which state, first come, first serve. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bust our butts to support and assist you so we can go build out a team. And we build out a team, help them go out and help small businesses build financial literacy, build loan packages, and gain access to capital. And you get those lucrative overrides. All right, so I think that's where we're at. Let's see, I think we've covered everything. So thank you all. We'll be back tomorrow morning. If you're interested in being a regional vice president, just simply let us know at support@businessparalegalcorp.com. We'll get this over to you and we'll get you on board. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Bye.